Good morning, guys. Welcome to the Morning JB Show. I'm your host, James Borman. If you are coming through to watch, listen, take in, please do like, comment and share. Let us know how you're doing, where you're from, what's happening. So listen, today I want to talk specifically about post-COVID-19 and you being the best prepared individual, best prepared in terms of your routine and your structure, ready to hit normality, because believe it or not, it's going to be a punch in the face when you do go back. So right now we are entering the second stint of the 3-week isolation. Okay, that means that we've got another 3 weeks where we're going to be restricted, where we're going to be at home. If we don't do any more, that's going to be 6 weeks. And there's bound to be some bad habits that have been put into place right now. And I know the temptations and the pulls of when we're at home, how difficult those temptations can be. Which means that when we do eventually go back to normality, we're going to be stuck on those routines, and it's going to be very difficult to adjust to normality. Okay, it's going to be really, really tough to deal with normality. And we've got to make sure that we are being as best prepared as we can, so that when we do go back to normality, we are well planned, we have consistency, we have control, and we have clarity on what we are doing. So this is what I want you to do. This is what I'm going to be getting my mastermind members to do in detail. I can't hold you accountable for this if you're not in my group, but you can go away and perform this task. That is going to help you perform much better for when we are out. I'm just going to go and shoot my dog because it will not stop moaning in the background. Get away. So the thing that I want you to do is that I want you to focus on getting a journal, a piece of paper, anything that you can write down, a clear, designated routine and structure for normal life. So you've got 3 weeks to do this, but I would do it as soon as possible so you can review it. I want you to write down and break this down into the 4 pillars. I want you to write down when you're going to focus on your health, your mental well-being and your emotional state. I want you to focus on when your relationship time is going to be, your date night, your time with the children, the cut-off period for work and when you're going to be home. I want you to then focus on when and how you are going to personally develop continuously. Then I want you to write down and fit in your work schedule. It's so important that you do this, because one of the things that I fear most for most men and women is that when we go back to normality, the overwhelm of returning to normality and a normal life is going to be crushing in terms of your emotional and mental state. Dealing with commuting again, dealing with school runs, dealing with stress of trying to catch up and build up the business after COVID-19, the demands that are going to be put on you. It's so important that you have some consistency, control and clarity going on in your life. So consistency of action, of a balanced action between health, PD, relationships and your career. So it's evenly spread. Control of your time and your energy and your productivity. And clarity on the direction that you are heading and the path that you're taking. It's really important that you maintain this, because it is going to be a massive adjustment. Just like it was an adjustment dealing with being at home, and suddenly our brains get used to that pattern and that way of life. Our state of mind changes and we adjust, but then we've got to do the same for when we go back. But you have an opportunity for 3 weeks to be able to get down on paper a structure. Listen, it's not going to go your way all of the time, even with a routine and structure. But it's going to give you some guidance. It's going to give you some direction. It's going to reduce uncertainty. It's going to reduce anxiety. It's going to reduce those negative feelings that we conjure up when we're feeling overwhelmed, overthinking, anxious and uncertain. I'd rather feel more consistent, controlled and have more clarity, wouldn't you? So it doesn't take much. It just takes sitting down in an environment that is quiet, that gives you time to think realistically about what life looks like when you go back. and making some changes to fit in with that routine. So if you've got into bad habits, you now have an opportunity to align things that you can do at home with aligning that plan that you've created for yourself, i.e. getting into the routine of a morning routine, getting into the routine of having rules, of finishing at a particular time to then focus on family time, to then start developing in something you want to, whether it's a language, whether it's learning about leadership, communication, whether it's improving your own business, whether it's improving your own aspirations in your career. If you can get that in now and build up those habits and those tiny wins, then when we go back, the transition won't be as mega, okay? It would just be a gentle, strategic process. It won't be just a big wham, there's a right hook in your face, deal with that. You have got an opportunity now to go and prepare and be the best version of yourself in normality. I believe that by the end of the 3 weeks, there might be a couple more weeks left on the isolation, but constantly in your mind, have that forward thinking of, I need to make sure I'm preparing for normality again. Okay? I hope that makes sense. I hope that helps. You know this already, I'm sure. I'm just really raising that self-awareness. I'm looking forward to working with the guys on 28 days today. We start today officially. If you didn't get on this time round or it just wasn't the right time, do not worry, guys. There is an opportunity and a little program I've put together for people who it wasn't the right time for. It just wasn't financially viable right now. It's like ridiculously cheap. If you need some home workouts, if you need some strategies like what I've just talked about, then I've put together a little starter pack just to keep you going and keep you focused. All right, guys. Have an amazing day. Start the week as you mean to go on, and I'll catch you tomorrow morning.